What's happening, people? Welcome back to another video. Now in today's video I just wanted to break down everything that we currently know on Apple's forthcoming flagship, the iPhone 7. Now the first thing, of course, that you want to know about is the design of this new phone. Now the design itself is said to resemble the likes of the iPhone 6s and the iPhone 6 before that. Of course, as Apple do with most of their generation of new phones, the phone is going to get around a millimeter thinner. Now, yes, Apple could have used that to make a bigger battery, but why not? Apple love design. Now, as well as the phone itself getting slimmer, we are expecting the antenna lines, which we see on the back of the iPhone 6, 6s and their Plus variants, being decreased only slightly. Now, what I mean by this is we're still going to see the camera lines, but the horizontal ones, which we see on the top and the bottom, are no longer going to be there. Instead, the lines that we see on the, essentially the edge of the phone, it's not really got an edge, it's really curved, but if it had an edge, that edge would still have them. So at least Apple are doing something about it, you know? Now if you used to look at this image, you will notice that there is a smart connector at the bottom of the device itself. Now, a smart connector has been on Apple's iPad for the last six months, I would say. It came out with the iPad Pro, at least the 12.9-inch variant, late last year. Now, it's Apple's way of using cases and keyboards with the iPad Pro, but now it looks like that could be making its way over to the likes of the next generation iPhone. So what does this mean? Well, the smart connector itself could be used with Apple's smart case. Yeah, that thing. Now, it does allow for power to be transferred either way, so could this mean wireless charging is on its way finally to iPhones? I think so, but you know, fingers crossed that it does make its way over to the next generation iPhone. Just a side note, Apple released the smart case last year, right? It connects through the lightning port. Now with this, I reckon they could use that smart case to wirelessly charge, freeing up the lightning port for audio. Now, we've heard various rumors suggesting that the headphone port on the next iPhone will no longer exist. Instead, we will get these lightning earpods. Now, myself, I am actually a fan of this move away from the headphone ports. Now, over the past few years, we've seen Apple ditch out legacy technology such as a CD drive, Firewire 3000. Like we've seen Apple ditch so many different connectors, and it's become a norm now. Like, how many of you guys have used a CD drive for a computer or a laptop? Like, you could be using it for gaming, right? But you could do that now online, Steam, right? And I'm not even talking about games consoles because most people buy them on discs. But for a computer, how many of you guys have actually used your CD drive in the last, let's say, 2 years? It's been dying out, and Apple made the move on the iMacs a good while back, and we don't look back at it. Like, I haven't used a CD drive. Like, I've still got my super drive inside my drawers right down there. I haven't even opened it. Like, I've still got it in its original packaging. Now, if you're not a fan of the move, I'm just gonna say, yo, don't hate on it until you see what Apple have also got planned. I mean, for all we know, they could have wireless charging for up to 15 foot. Boom. Because we've seen that pattern. Apple fired that pattern quite a while back to have wireless charging with a distance of around 15 foot. So imagine if they bring that over. You wouldn't be hating on them now. You know, your phone charging in your pocket or while you're having a shit or something. Now, with the headphone jack essentially disappearing, does free up a bit of space in the device itself. So rumors are suggested that we will get stereo speakers on this new iPhone. So we're going to get a speaker on either side of the device. Now, with the iPhone 6s, Apple did slowly try to make the iPhone slightly more water resistant. Now, we are expecting this trend to continue with the iPhone 7. So do expect the iPhone 7 to be slightly water resistant, at least more than the iPhone 6s. Now, in terms of the displays that these phones will be using, we're still going to see exactly the same displays that we've seen on the iPhone 6s and the 6s Plus being used in the iPhone 7 and the iPhone 7 Plus or the 7 Pro. So that means that we're not going to see the OLED panels, which have been rumored for quite a few years, and we're not going to get QHD this year. Now, I'm expecting that we will get probably the OLED panel next year, and it'll be quite a big selling point for the next generation iPhone 7s, but not this year. It seems a little bit too soon now. So now that Foxconn have recently acquired Sharp, it is expected that the next generation iPhone 7s will come with an OLED display of some sort. Now, last year Apple introduced Force Touch on the iPhones. Now it is expected that we will get further enhancement of Force Touch. Is it 3D Touch or is it Force Touch? Nevertheless, it is expected that Apple are going to further expand 3D Touch throughout iOS 10, which of course the iPhone will come shipping with. Now, we've also seen various rumors suggesting that Apple could also remove the home button, but I don't think again that we're going to see this for this generation. We may see it for the iPhone 8. Now, it is expected that the Touch ID fingerprint sensor will be embedded into the glass on the screen, so that means that you could essentially unlock your phone by touching anywhere on the display, as well as Force Touch, 3D Touch, whatever you want to call it, will be used to act as the home button. So just imagine being able to implement more and more force to do a different thing. So instead of only being able to access the multi-touching, going back to the home page, Siri, I think that's actually all the home button does. It just does those three things, as well as Touch ID, but you know, if they implement that, then whatever. But with Force Touch, obviously there are different levels of force and what you can do off that. Now, in terms of performance in the device itself, we are expecting to get Apple's A10 processor. Now, the A10 processor is also going to be using TSMC's 10nm process. Now, this is expected to yield Apple around 20% gains in the performance department, as well as being around 40% more efficient when compared to last year's iPhone 6s. Now, you can also expect this processor to come packaged with Apple's newest motion co-processor, the M10. Now, the M10 is expected to come with a few more enhancements, as well as being slightly more efficient when compared to the M9. Now, with the device itself becoming slimmer, you would actually think that the battery would take quite a considerable hit, but we've heard rumors that due to the efficiency of the A10 processor, battery life in fact could actually be increased. Now, we do expect the increase to be of around maybe 2 to 3 hours, so it's always a good thing when an iPhone gets better battery life, let's face it. Now, where we're going to see some rather big changes is in the camera department. Now, we're not going to see what happened last year with the megapixel count increasing. Instead, we're still going to get the 12 megapixel camera, but instead we're going to get the same sensor found in the likes of the Galaxy S7. Now, this will enable the device itself to get slimmer, as well as getting rid of that protruding camera bump. Now, the sensor itself is expected to get larger. This is as the pixels on the sensor itself are going to increase from 1.22 microns to 1.44. So expect the low light performance to be increased. Now, on the iPhone 6s, we currently have an aperture of f2.2. Now, on the iPhone 7, we can expect to see an aperture of around 2, that we're going to get around 1.8, but you know, now the reason you want a larger aperture is to allow more light to hit the sensor. Now, if you pair the larger aperture as well as the increase in the size in pixels, the low light performance in the iPhone 7 should be, now of course expect it to still shoot 4K, the same slow-mo, let's say same almost everything, but we're just going to see these subtle increases in the actual camera department itself, which will overall just make for a better experience when using the camera on the iPhones. Now, where we're going to see the biggest increase in the camera department is with the Pro Plus iPhone 7 variant, which no one knows what Apple are going to call. Maybe they're just going to call it the iPhone Pro. iPhone Pro, iPhone 7 Pro, I don't know what they're going to call it, but with that iPhone model in particular, we are going to see the dual lens camera system. Now, this will allow for a variety of things. Now, the first of them being the ability to have around 3 times optical zoom. So currently when you're using your iPhone, or most other smartphones in fact, when you zoom in, you're actually using a digital zoom. Now, it's fine in that, but when you do zoom in, you do tend to get a lot of noise and distortion in the image itself. Now with an optical zoom, the noise is considerably less. Now just take a look at these images and be a judge for yourself. Now, another feature that the dual lens camera system would bring over is what we see in the likes of the LG G5. Now, this means that one camera would be allowed to shoot essentially as we see normally with, you know, the iPhone 6s and other phones alike, but the other lens will be used to capture a wider field of view. So imagine putting your hands on your face like this, right? This is essentially what you're seeing when you've got the iPhone, well, any iPhone currently. Now with the dual lens camera system, move your hands and you see all of, you know, all of that. So that's essentially the difference that we'll see with a wider field of view. So it's quite big. I mean, when you're taking, you know, like a group picture, you wouldn't have to tell people to squeeze in, like, time to space out a bit, you know, stop huddling, right? Now the iPhone 7 is expected to drop the 16GB baseline model that we've seen since like the iPhone 3G, so that's good. So we're going to see the 32GB model be the baseline model for iPhones coming forward. So what we could see with the iPhone 7 is a 32GB, 64, and then 128GB model. Now over with the iPhone 7 Pro, the iPhone Pro, you get the idea. With that model, we could also see a 256 freaking gigabyte model, which is crazy. I'm pretty sure that you can buy a MacBook Air right now that's got 128GB in it. So you'll have more memory than a freaking laptop. Now in terms of pricing, there is expected to be a slight premium on the iPhone 7 Pro model. Now so you could expect these new iPhones to ship for around what they currently do, but the iPhone 7 Pro, the iPhone Pro, yada yada yada, that model is expected to have a slight premium. Now this is due to, of course, the new dual lens camera, as well as some other stuff, I don't know, Apple tax and stuff. So yeah. Now guys, if you've made it this far in the video, tell me what you think about, you know, what I've said and what you think the iPhone 7 should be like. Do you like what Apple seem to have planned for the iPhone division? I'll leave some articles down below to where you can go and check out, you know, some forums, some articles with regards to the iPhone 7. Check out one of these 2 videos playing on screen. I have my iPhone SE review here. You can also click that card above to go and check it. Now this will be a random video, and you can also click that card right now. Yeah, subscribe if you're new. You can also like if you liked it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.